want to say thank you for being here. I know it's 80 degrees outside and probably the last warm day, but your attention here, your caring for this really means a lot to me. So thank you, brothers and sisters. If I could kind of channel back to Doug Cohen's gong, that powerful moment. If I could have a gong or something like gong, the thing I would like to share. Oh, you do? Okay.
Do you want it?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
It's actually Doug Cohen.
Sorry. The thing I would like to share with you, and you're going to hear about business and all that, but if we are children, the thing to remember is there's nothing more important, please, there's nothing more important than the ideas you choose to surround yourself with, the ideas that you choose to share with people, the ideas that you choose to believe. And I'll go into that. So, if anyone cares, Continuum is a global innovation and design consultancy. I think the key is we study people. That's first. We recognize opportunities, identify breakthrough ideas, and we try as hard as we can to make those ideas real. I wanted to share with you the idea that I want to share with you is the only businesses that will succeed in the future are those that improve people's lives. That was said by Harry West. He's our CEO. Now, I got freaked out when I heard this because I thought, uh-oh, our CEO has turned into Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra had a knack for saying things that were very obtuse, hard to understand why he would say that. But if you pondered it, there was this profound Zen wisdom in everything he said. And so I do think Harry West is going the way of Yogi Berra, but that's not a bad thing. And I'll probably hear about that if he ever sees that video. So in pondering this, I came up with, well, there's a modifier there that the businesses that will succeed in the future are those that are really good at improving people's lives. And it's that really good that I want to explore with you. And I also just want to make an announcement. Kathy talked about frauds, and I am the fraud today. But I hope with your help, you can help us refine our point of view about how design can help business be really good. Now, why is it important to be really good? Do I really believe this stuff? I've been in the industry for 12 years, and yes, I believe this stuff because in the end, it's not business to people, it's not government to people, it's people to people. If you're a CEO of Pepsi or Coke, you're a person. And you still have the ability to be exposed to ideas that will change the course of your future. So never give up on people. It's always people to people. And in terms of why does business really need to be good, we heard about it today. Social media, transparency, engagement, those are things that are not going to go away. Business can no longer hide from the truth. Our ability to discover the truth is going to continue to outpace our ability to hide from the truth. And that's a good thing. And that's why businesses that don't focus on being really good are not going to survive in the future. So I told you this is a learning opportunity for us at Continuum. I wanted to put up a couple of definitions that we're trying to work with. We think that business is about more than building financial wealth. I think successful businesses are going to be about building social wealth. And we're trying to define that as, perhaps it tracks with how many people have reliable access to the things they value, if I can channel Elena for a second. And that social innovation, that definition is it improves people's lives by changing the nature of business to build social wealth. So there is a problem with this definition. I'm an engineer at heart, so you look at the limit conditions. By that definition, the US military is the world's largest social innovation organization today. They have a stated mission of building a nation in Afghanistan and Iraq, and they're spending billions and billions of dollars trying to do it. Everyone who's involved in that effort has a heartfelt passion for what they're doing. But the question is that business, and yes, I'm calling the military business, is it designed to be efficient, to provide the value that the world is looking for? So it's a very big question for designers and innovators, is how do we make sure we're solving the right problem, the right way, for the long term? And I think that example of the US military does help. We're not bad people, we're trying to do it, but are we solving the right problem the right way for the long term? So we have, at Continuum anyway, the starting of some answers that lead to more questions. That working for many instead of a few is one of the first kind of definitions of social innovation. And the question that raises is, how do we get to know all our investors personally? And I'll go into what I think investors are. I think today investors are employees at companies. Investors are your fellow citizens, because it's no longer going to be the right for companies to do business without talented employees. You all, maybe not all of you, but most of you are going to be employees at some point. And you have the ability to withhold your services to an employer if you don't feel they're doing the right thing. And if those employers can't get their hands on you, the best and the brightest, they're not going to survive. So you're investors, whether you invest in stocks or not. Secondly, they're democratizing access to things of value. An important question for design is, how do we know if what we want to offer is valuable enough to the people that we're trying to offer it to? And finally, I think a common thread you heard today is there's a commitment for the long term. Yes, things will change will come up, but can you be sensitive enough to the change to stay relevant? So I wanted to start with know all your investors. And someone asked how, and I hope that this and this afternoon session will give you a few tools that we use that we think could be really useful in social innovation. Do we have all the answers? No, not even close. But I think there are some principles in design that can help social innovators. I really like this statement because it's unqualified. It does not make any bones about the goodwill of the people is the only enduring thing in any business. It's the sole substance, the rest is shadow. And if you really believe that, then you know that's the most important thing. Regardless of what you're doing, if you are in business, you cannot stay in business if you don't connect with people. After all, it's their problem. They know why they want to solve it. They know how they're solving it today. Ultimately, if they adopt your solution or not, it's their choice. So I'll give you an example of why it's so important to connect with people. Continuum is working with Grameen Foundation and CCL, the Center for Creative Leadership, on how do we expand microfinance. Saying that microfinance is a power for good, it's limited in that there's a talent gap. It's hard to get these quote-unquote middle managers who can run a field office and do all the things that an entrepreneur would have to do, yet they're called middle managers, yet they're treated as middle managers. But they have to make sure that, when a cow walks into the office and shits all over the floor, they have to clean it up. Does that sound like your typical middle manager route? So, or if the local government doesn't like the business you're doing or thinks you're helping too many people and you're getting all the social benefit that he used to have and tries to shut you down, you have to deal with it. Does that sound like a middle manager? No, it's entrepreneurship. So there's a big question of how do we create innovative solutions that develops middle managers so we can expand microfinance and develop these folks into future leaders. So coming from our context, we might think, let's get them into a hotel room and give them training. But this is where connecting with people really helps. And we have a bunch of ways that go over in this afternoon session about how we do that. But this is just the beginning. And I'll show you that the microfinance managers get on-the-job training in real time and through experience. This is his office. This is how he gets around. This is the office kitchen where he eats and somebody sleeps. This is where he might sleep at sometimes with his subordinates. Now that sounds bad. I think differently. It's totally platonic. But the point is, when we focus entirely on the utility and mechanism of a transaction, we leave a lot of value on the table. And that's important to business. So this isn't all touchy-feely, liberal stuff. We leave a lot of value on the table if we're not looking at all the touch points that we can help the people we want to connect with. So it is important to look beyond behavior and look into meaning. How much time do I have? Holy cow. Well, make sure your offering is valuable enough. So this is the second part. It's not enough to just go look at behavior. This is, if you go talk to people, that what they say is valuable. And now, based on values, you have the basis of how you're going to create a solution for them. I want to just go through a couple other things about values. You can find them everywhere. This is a card, the American Express Black Card. If you spend $250,000 a year, you can get this card from American Express. These people, they can buy anything they want, but they still have values that they can't get for money. So if you go through the list of values that you can get from other places, Daniel H. Pink has written a book about what motivates people, autonomy, mastery, and purpose. I feel like he hasn't gotten very far from the Holy Bible, love, hope, and faith. You can find everywhere that there are values beyond utility, beyond money. And how does business capitalize on that? It's there, it's value, it's real. I was going to tell you a little bit about a couple of other examples. I don't think we'll have time, but I did want to share with you what I started with, that we have to be really careful about the ideas we spread, because our behavior starts from our ideas. We often think, oh, I know something, so I'll act. No, it's first you believe something, and then you take the time to know about your belief, and then your belief drives your action. So we have to be careful when we go out in the field as designers. This is what we know. We know our side of the story. And this is about all we see. We see nothing about her ideas and values. We see nothing about her beliefs and aspirations. We see nothing about her knowledge and experience. We only see her behavior. So the question is, how do we fill this in? What do we fill this in with? Does anyone know the process, what it's called for filling that in? Anyone? My last minute.
Listening.
Very good. It's called listening. It's called being a friend. So everyone knows how to do this. But everyone somehow forgets how to do it when they start talking about business, when they become an employee. All of a sudden, it's not about being friends. It's about studying your customers. No. It's about being a friend. That's the only way you're going to fill this in without screwing it up with what you already know. And that's all I have to say.